George Soros and his wonderful radical left son should be charged with RICO because of their support of violent protest and much more all throughout the United States of America. We're not going to allow these lunatics to rip apart America anymore, never giving it so much as a chance to breathe and be free. Soros and his group of psychopaths have caused great damage to our country. And that includes the crazy West Coast friends, his crazy West Coast friends. Be careful, we're watching you. Thank you for your attention in this matter.
How can we be, the most powerful country in the world, and it's not safe to walk around our cities? What the hell is going on? Yeah. I mean, Soros, honestly, misanthropic. He's for someone who has, sort of claims to be doing good, but actually he is not. He is tearing down the fabric of society. So terrible. Yeah. But I think it's just unbelievable that you should be able to feel safe walking around American cities. And it's not just Philadelphia has a challenge. New York has a challenge. Every major city in the U.S. Like my mom lives in New York, for example. 3 of her friends have been assaulted on the street this year. It's like, and it's getting worse.
But they're putting cones, the protesters are putting cones on the smoke grenades. This is what they've been taught to do by well-paid organizers like George Soros and now his son Alex Soros. The destabilization that is happening nationwide now, as you can see in Atlanta, same thing that's happening in LA, happening in Atlanta now, quite literally because of these organizations.
Holy
And as
shit.
you can see, the protesters, they're fighting back, they're throwing fireworks directly at the police here. So we're gonna keep it going, let's go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the midst of a blood sacrifice season. And this is the late night video for those of you who are rocking with me. You've been with the one and only James Williams Dog Waters in the late night for a long time. I had a great weekend, by the way. Sorry I missed you guys. I had to go out of town to check on family. And when I left to upload all my videos, I log in on my computer and my internet down, baby, so I couldn't get to you, but I'm back. Yeah. The real is back. And I'm just going to tell you, stop watching all them other channels for a little while. Watch me for right now, because the real is back. Everyone is in the news talking about the young lady who was murdered, the Ukrainian young lady who was murdered. So let me go to that real quick. And I want to relay this to you in a format that you can understand. Blood, murder, death, and sacrifices that we see going on in the United States of America. Everybody thinks that every time there's bloodshed, and there's high profile bloodshed, it's going to go and help wicked people. And typically it does. But now we've reached that point where if you notice, all the bloodshed, every satanic sacrifice being made is backfiring. Every last one of them. Hold on, give me a second. Let me get it together. This is the terrifying image of the girl after a crazy black man stabbed her. And that's what he was, a crazy demon-infested black man stabbed her. And there's very graphic images of her blood spilled all over the place and him walking around with a knife dripping blood saying, "I killed the white girl." And what you're not seeing, and what most people are not seeing, is who was he talking to? That was the demonic spirit that he was talking to. Every last one of these attacks have had demonic spirits in common. So the last one he had, where the guy went out and shot up the school and shot through the church windows, there was documentation of it because there was a drawing that he had where he was looking at himself in the mirror and a demon was telling him, "Kill yourself." This is the same thing. It's the exact same thing, except for you don't have the drawing. And so we get this blood sacrifice of this Ukrainian girl. And then let me say this. I'm so sorry that this happened to this young lady. I don't want to see anyone die. I don't want to see anyone have a bloody death or murder, especially because of the color of their skin. It's absolutely, totally ridiculous. Now, I'm going to talk about this in a manner in which you may feel like, bro, you dehumanizing the young lady. And that's not my intention. My intention is for you to truly understand and see it for what it is. Okay? but I need you to see it. So in order to see it, I need you to detach completely from it and look at it from a higher perspective. Ready? Can we all agree? And before we leave out, we'll reattach to it like human beings. But we need to come up here and think like people from a different dimension, like people from the realms, how things are seen from the realms, not from the earth. So hold on, watch this. Let's start with the very first backfiring thing that backfires on the Democratic Party, the hypocrisy of this unfortunate blood sacrifice of this girl. Every Democrat in America felt like they should support Ukraine. The Congress wanted to support Ukraine. People wanted to march in the streets over Ukraine. Zelensky came to our congressional halls and stood and spoke, and they rolled out a Ukrainian flag. But wait. When the young Ukrainian white girl is murdered by a black criminal that was crazy and let out of prison, not that Ukrainian. Not that Ukrainian. The Ukrainians over there. And see, some of this, the tempting thing for the average person to believe is that this revelation is for you. If you're already awake to the problem, this don't matter to you. You see the hypocrisy in it, and it registers to you that it's hypocrisy, but it's not targeting you. It's not. From a 100,000 foot view, you can see who it's targeting, though. It's targeting young liberal white women. That's who it's targeting. That, hey, you in danger, and these people don't support you, although there's ample evidence that they do not support them, whether it be the things that happen in women's sports and men's sports and all the rest of this. But wait. That's not the point. This is just the laying the groundwork, the foundation of what's being said. What's truly going on is this bloodshed has brought a level of judgment against the judges in this earth, in the United States of America, unlike anything you've ever seen. Now, I don't know the young lady's name, and it's Ukrainian, I probably couldn't pronounce it. But now you have the white version of George Floyd hitting the streets. Now let's see if white people go crazy. I seriously doubt it, like black people did, and burn down buildings over the white George Floyd moment, because that's what this is. Now let's get to the real hardcore stuff. Here we go. Now this is what you need to be looking at. So follow the storyline. There's a young Ukrainian girl who's murdered by a guy who was let out of prison by a judge who's a soft on crime judge. All over the United States of America, we have these Soros judges who've been put in place to be soft on crime, to allow murderers to go free. And the problem with being a judge, whether you're a federal judge, a Supreme Court judge, a state judge, a local judge, is there's a very special spiritual standard that you're held to. And you can have your political leanings, but there's a problem. And we're going to start with scripture. Isaiah 10, 1, 2, 3. Woe. Anytime God says woe, you got a problem on your hands. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Turn aside the needy from judgment, and take away the right from the poor of my people, the widows, and that the widows may be their prey. When you look at what's going on with the judges, every one of these Soros judges, they are falling underneath the judgments of God because of what they've done. Period. Point blank, period. There's no way around it. You can't beat it. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's go. Give me a second. I'll go to Alex to get Alex to help us just dissect this, because this is just one case study. I don't need to do multiple case studies. I'm trying to get you to the point to where you can see it as it plays out real time, as you can see it live, baby, live up front. So let's go to Alex and let Alex pull it together. Watch this.
Breaking: the Department of Justice has smacked down DeCarlos Brown Jr. with a federal charge after the horrific slaying of a Ukrainian refugee. FBI Director Kash Patel and AG Pam Domedy say they are seeking the maximum penalty. The brutal attack on Irina Zartuska on the Charlotte Light Rail, North Carolina, was a disgraceful act that should never have happened in America, Patel said. The FBI jumped to assist this investigation immediately to ensure, and they've now released the video, and make sure justice is served. as the perpetrator is never released from jail to kill again. And they go on through that. And now what we talked about hours ago, she's Soros left-connected NGOs. She runs a treatment center for mental health and drugs and placed him in her treatment center, making money off of releasing him. So DeCarlos Brown has a number of court-ordered evaluations that include the most recent from schizophrenia. Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department
demonic infestation
3 different times, 2024, and referred him to resources. CMPV arrested 14 times, different violent crimes. Has not answered the questions. But he was sent to second chance services with the judge. So the judge, it appears, it's what's being reported, is the director of operations of where he was being sent. Wow. Is all I can say. Absolutely insane. Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you know that medical grade methadone.
Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you know that medical grade methylene blue. Anyway, so we have a judge. Man, this is wild. We have a judge, as Mr. Jones explained, who released the criminal to put him back in care so that she can make money off of the judge. And again, I'm so sorry that this young lady died. But out of her sacrifice, out of her death, is coming the complete and total exposure of the corruption of judges in general. And in fact, I don't know if you guys get it, but this whole entire month has been about the judicial system. If you go back a couple of videos, I predicted, I said, hey, look, I said the lower court judges are starting to battle out with the Supreme Court judges, and the Supreme Court judges got a choice on their hands. They either going to have to put these little chumps in their place, or they're going to have to side with them. And then you notice over the past couple of days, the Supreme Court judges has been cracking down on the lower court judges. This whole month is about judges, but the concept and idea of the month about being about judges means that it's also about judgment, not only of judges but of nations. Judgment. Let's go back to our graph. Psalms 82, 1 through 2. God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods. How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Salah. Now, this is God standing amongst the council of God. And it goes on to say, no, it's not that you are gods, but ye shall fall like one of the princes and die like men. Right? And you may say, well, James, what is this? Psalms 82, 1 through 2, or one, I think it's like 30 verses. What does that have to do with the judges? Oh, it has a hell of a lot to do with it, because each and every one of these judges that are in place represent a different spirit in the kingdom. So when you see judgment getting rendered against a certain judge, it's actually a manifestation of judgment rendered against that idol that sits on that altar, or whatever spirit it is that sits on that throne. Is just manifesting in this realm. Are you following me? Can you smell what James is cooking? I'm not the Rock. I'm not cooking pineapples and children. But can you get what I'm saying to you? The whole reason why I even do these videos is so you can see it. And once you see this, once you behold it with your eyes, once you touch it with your hands, the things we've seen, the things we've held, the things we behold, the things we've touched, once you touch them, there's no turning back. The problem is most people never touch these things. They never see them. They never hold them. But once you hold it in your hand, this invisible thing in your hand, but it's just as tangible, just as real as this phone. Once you hold that in your hand, there is no turning back for you. None. You can't go back. You just can't go back. Proverbs 7:15. He that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they are both an abomination to the Lord. And so we find the judges, the abominations, being exposed. And understand, if there's one judge that did this, and there's one judge that did this, and now it's turning out that the lady's not even a judge. Teresa Stokes is not even a judge, is what's coming out. If there's one, there's many. And then you wonder why in these black cities, these minority cities, these Democrat cities, why crime is out of control. It's because, like I said earlier, it's the boule. They don't care about crime. They want to enrich themselves on the blood and the pain. That's why earlier I called them witches and sorcerers. Because it's the truth. I'm not lying to you, man. That's what they are. Magistrate judge releasing violent criminals without bail often aren't even lawyers. What? And I want you to notice something. Do you notice that all of them are female judges? Do you notice that this is Jezebel loves power. Loves power. And herein lies the issue that's affecting everyone. The Democratic Party's plan to kneecap black men and black fathers. This is what happens when it comes to full fruition. This is what happened when you move all these women into power. All of them. Yep. But the beauty of it is, ladies and gentlemen, this is judgment. And remember these words, Teresa Stokes is she's the tip of the spear for this judgment that's coming. And it's going to be ugly. It's going to be vicious. It's going to be terrible. And while it's going on the whole time, as they're going down, they're going to be screaming and kicking and crying racism and blah, 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 blah. But you played the game and you played the race card too much. And it's just ridiculous. What makes it worse is you end up being a bunch of damn witches. And everybody think a witch has got to be somebody who goes to a cauldron or sits out in the sun and the moon and does incantations and chants. No. Those are witches. But these are cultural witches. These are ones who use manipulation. These are the ones who use pride. These are the ones that fully fit the definition of a cultural witch. By culture, you do wickedness. By culture, by the way you were raised and the way you behave, you are now an abomination. Yep. This is what it is, man. And it's deadly. Hold on. Watch this. And you know, the worst part about the globalists, the worst part about the globalists, it's not really funny, but it is kind of funny when you think about it, but I shouldn't be laughing. The worst part about the globalists is they're desperately wicked. I mean, it's hard to fathom the level of wickedness because the average person can't even think of the concept of this level of wickedness, right? So you orchestrate this entire plan over the past, 5 years that you rapidly, no, let's just say 10 years, because the defund the police, the marches in the streets about the George Floyd and all the rest of these people, that stuff was kind of going on when Trump was in office the first time. But you go through this rapid process of brainwashing people to defund the police, to allow criminals to go out into the streets, knowing that these black, mentally ill, crazy, demon sons of bitches do exist, and that they're going to go out and commit crimes, but you're going to keep releasing them from prison to do more and more crimes until you get the perfect crime that leads to a race war. And then the trap is when somebody like Anna Paula Luna calls for the death penalty, then you call it racist. which only feeds this desire and this strife. And this is why God is judging. This is why God is judging all the judges. Because this man right here messed over a 4-year-old child. And there's no reason for him to be out of prison. He shouldn't be out of prison. Listen to it.
Is only 25, but is well known to Baton Rouge police, causing problems over the years, spelled out in a plethora of paperwork filed with the 19th Judicial District Court.
It's extremely frustrating.
Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse sat down with us Friday, expressing frustration after the same man is now accused of raping a small child.
We've arrested him 6 times over the last 6-7 years. He's everything from firearm charges to domestic abuse, battery, violation of protective orders. He's currently on probation, supervised probation, by probation and parole.
Is only 25, but is well known to Baton Rouge police, causing problems over the years.
And it's all because they keep letting them out of prison. And they keep letting them out of prison because they make money. They incentivize to make the money. And nobody cares about what happens to the people when they're let out of prison. And the reason why it's done is so that at the end of the day, they can have what they need to destroy this nation. And when you look at the competing narratives in the news, like I had some people emailing me about the letter that Trump supposedly made to Epstein, which I thought that was the stupidest thing on the planet. Like, when you really think about it, when you look at it, like even the tragic death of this young lady is currently being exploited on social media to foment racial violence and division. Because those sacrifices work both ways. But normally we would just get it going one way. This time, and lately, it's been completely destructive to the kingdom of darkness every time they do something. Even if you go all the way back to the guy who went on the 33rd floor of the NFL building or whatever and shot somebody, all that stuff has just backfired on them. Everything is backfired on them. All over the board. When you take a look at someone like Abby Phillips, which I'm sorry, Abby Phillips needs to come off TV, but it's disgusting for us to look at. It's disgusting for us to hear. But at the end of the day, I try to remember, and I want you to remember, this is really not about you. You know the truth. You've been made free. It's those who don't get it, man. It's those who don't get it.
Want to be there.
Yeah, and it's
about forcing them to be there.
When you are mentally ill, you have a hard time knowing that you are mentally ill. But also, I mean, people like Charlie Kirk, they've been looking for opportunities to make this some sort of like reciprocal George Floyd situation. And that's the part that I think he's almost giving away the game. And it's sad to see a lot of people going along with it.
You know, let me just say a couple of things. One is, I mean, what happened to that young woman was horrible. And it's everybody's nightmare. If you're in any public space, a subway, whatever, that something bad's going to happen to you or somebody you care about. So it does strike a chord. We don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race mongering, hate mongering, it's wrong. Then he's
the dude said, I killed the white girl. What you mean? He walked around with blood dripping off his knife saying he killed the white girl. What are you talking about? It's amazing how, and this is why I call them witches and sorcerers, because they will defend anything. I mean, they will defend pedophiles, they'll defend murderers, they'll defend rapists, they'll defend drug dealers, they defend the Kilmore Greg Garcia, who was not only a pedophile, but a human trafficker and a murderer and a womanizer, a wife beater. They will defend anything and anyone. And this is why judgment is coming to all of them. I'm not even going to make y'all listen to this. It's pissing me off to even listen to it. Her starting off saying, hey, you know, we don't know when you're crazy. You don't know you're crazy. Tricky. They know they crazy. Yeah. Somebody done told them, hey, man, you crazy. They done been, that man, if he's got a diagnosis of schizophrenia, somebody told his ass he was crazy. But see, these demons are just defending other damn demons. And you can't expect anything less of demon-infested vessels other than to defend themselves and look out for each other. And that's what we're dealing with, man. That's exactly what we're dealing with. Now, real quickly, let me swing over for a few minutes. I think you guys understand the sacrifice that was made and how it's about to play out. There's no way around it. That's why I went to Alex, because Alex talked about how the FBI went and looked into it. That's a rabbit hole for them to go down, and it's a rabbit hole that's going to be exploited. That woman's going to snitch and rat, and she going to tell on everybody. She going to snitch and rat on everybody. Stokes is going to be telling all the business. Stokes, in fact, she going to get, she going to sing and get the whole galaxy indicted. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, the whole galaxy, every star, sun, moon, planet, gonna get indicted when she starts singing. When Stokes starts singing. Yep. Yeah. Everybody getting indicted. That's why I say the judgment coming. And it's sad that that girl had to die, but I'm telling you, the blood of that one girl is about to ripple through the whole judicial system. Imagine for a moment how afraid all those judges are that have been doing that. All those people who are on those boards of directors that were making them. Imagine for a moment, just think, damn, they sitting there saying, damn. And every phone call being monitored, every message, every text message, every email, everything being monitored right now. And they're scrambling. Hold on, let me swing to something else real quick. Now, this is one of the most profound things that I think has happened outside of Louisiana, Texas, and Florida. I believe are the three states that decided they were going to put the 10 Commandments back in schools. I'm pretty sure it was Texas, Louisiana, and Florida. It may have been Arkansas. It may have been a cluster, but I know Louisiana did it. Texas did it. I know Florida did it for sure. Maybe Arkansas. They all said, hey, we putting the 10 Commandments back in schools. To have your president come out and your president to announce that not only is he's going to be working to stop Christian persecution, and to say everybody's talking about anti-Semitic persecution. No, he's going to talk about Christian persecution, which, man, I'm telling you, this is a fantastic thing. But then to say, no, we're going to put prayer back in schools. It's prayer leaving schools. I remember when I was a young man when it happened. I remember I went to a Catholic school. I'll never forget. I had to be like in a 6th grade. And I remember my teacher coming in and saying, well, you know, you guys are in a Catholic school, and I'm not Catholic, but in New Orleans, if you want to go to a decent school, you go to a Catholic school, right? I remember my teacher coming in and saying, well, you know, they're going to be making these changes where kids can't pray in school anymore. And she was like, look, we're going to pray in school here because prayer is what keeps this school protected. We never had no school shooting. We never had nobody running the school. We never had a kid kidnapped. We never had nothing. Nothing. But we had teachers and nuns who prayed every day. You know what I mean? All day. Multiple times a day. This is one of the greatest things that's happening to America right now. And there are going to be people who say, well, you know, you guys idolize Donald Trump. You guys are Trump worshipers. Guys, when you see that, I see it all the time. I'm pretty sure to be in this video at some point in time. When you see that, that is a demon making an accusation against you through one of their many vessels that they have out here. demon-filled vessels. And if you're one of those people that's thinking about commenting that, I'm just going to tell you right now, save yourself the drama of what's going to happen to you over the next 7 days by making baseless accusations against people that's going to go into the courts of heaven and going to have to be responded to because you made a baseless accusation. And then when a response comes and a judgment comes and you have a bad week or a bad day or something terrible happens, you don't have to go through that. Just keep your damn mouth shut because you don't know what you're talking about. Just keep your mouth shut because you don't know what you're talking about. And here it is.
Found in for most of our country's history, the Bible was found in every classroom in the nation. Yet in many schools today, students are instead indoctrinated with anti-religious propaganda, and some are even punished for their religious beliefs, and very, very strongly punished. It's ridiculous. Joining us this morning is Hannah Allen from Honey Grove, Texas. A few years ago, Hannah organized a group of her classmates to pray for an injured peer. The school principal declared that Hannah's generous act of love was prohibited from taking place in front of the other students. Didn't like it. The principal didn't like it. Can you imagine? But Hannah very strongly stood her ground, and she won. And Hannah, I just want to thank you for letting the light of your faith shine for all of those to see. We really appreciate it. And where is Hannah? Is Hannah here someplace? I think so. Hannah, stand up, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hannah. I know what you went through. I know what you went through. It's great. Appreciate it. To support students like Hannah, I'm pleased to announce this morning that the Department of Education will soon issue new guidance protecting the right to prayer in our public schools, and it's total protection. Thank you, Hannah. Great job. See what you did, Hannah? Who knew? Who knew that was going to happen, right? Thank you.
You know, the absolute amazing part about persecutions, and I'll tell you, just let me lay it out for you. Anytime there's a persecution of a man, a woman, a boy, a girl that's a Christian, there's a couple things that happen. Persecutions are used to destroy systems. And then those who go through the persecution, those who persecute the other person and lie and backstab and connive, those who do the persecuting, if you get through the persecution yourself and not turn from the Lord, what ends up happening is there's a massive victory, and those who do the persecuting either die or get saved. And death doesn't mean you just fall over and croak and die, but there's many versions of death. There's a lot of versions of death. There's a lot of things and a lot of ways people die, and without them, their heart just stopped beating. But typically what comes out of the persecution is salvation for others. And Hannah probably went through a very brutal persecution. And now Hannah and her story led to school, and probably other kids who were persecuted led to prayer going back into schools, and also the persecution of Donald Trump. Yeah, it never looks. This is why I pray for the president all the time. For a man who went through the entire system, like the entire world system, attacking him. Like, I'm talking about the demonic world system attacking him. There was only two ways that Donald Trump could go. Donald was going to get closer to God, or Donald was going to become Satan himself and be so consumed with vengeance that he would destroy us in the process of destroying those who tried to destroy him. And thus far, outside of the beef with Elon Musk, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Mr. Trump. Is he perfect? No. It's because he's a man. And he ain't pure. And no man is pure. And if you one of those people be like, oh, Trump did this, then shut up because you're dumb, because you won't pass a purity test at all. If your life was laid bare to everybody, you would fail the purity test in 1.71 seconds. So don't do that. but I like what I see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see y'all later. One and only James Williams Dark Waters. I'm out of here.